Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 123 of Carmela's Wrestling Radio Relived. I'm so excited. Every week that we get to another episode, I'm like beside myself. I'm so happy. How are you guys doing, Rich and Jeannie?
Doing good.
Rich, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. It looks like we've all
I'm
had
doing
a
good. How are you doing?
good, good. Can you hear me? Rich? Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like we've all had a week, right? It's been a week. So we're
Yeah.
here. Yeah, this is I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this for me is my little slice of heaven. When everything else is making me so crazy that I want to choke somebody, this gives me that peace, that relief that I need, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to answer a quick question from our dear friend Chuck. He said in his question, and I'll see if I remember it, he said that in the 60s and 70s, most of the matches were squash matches. Now, there's so many matches that are more intricate and more, detailed and stuff like that. Why do we think that years ago all the matches were pretty much squash matches? Anybody got anything to say about
That
that?
was before my time, so I can't really comment.
Okay, Rich.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty simple answer. Back then, the squash matches were to build up the person who was doing the squashing for when they were going to have their big match at the house show.
Okay. What I think, I agree with that. But what I also think is back then, there were no schools, there was no training, there was nothing. And besides the fact that they were building somebody up for a future show, um, everybody learned what they learned in the ring. And a lot of times when an experienced wrestler was fighting somebody who was not as experienced or was just coming up, it would be easier, especially if you had a lot of matches that night, to do squash matches because there was no rehearsal, there was no planning, there was none of that stuff. So it was easier to do that. And also you have to understand that because there was no internet, no, not really TV or anything like that, you could prepare, but you really couldn't in the same token because whatever happened in New Jersey would be a buildup, yeah, for those people, but the people in Philadelphia would not have seen that buildup. So sometimes it was necessary to do a squash match so that you could go on and do something that would help. Today, there's no reason for squash matches. Today, 90% of it is interference. It's you know, repeat. A lot of the old matches were repeats because they were done from town to town to town to town, so they had to be repetitive. Here they don't have to be repetitive, and they are. So that's, I'm still liking the old stuff better than the new stuff. So Chuck, I hope that answers your questions. We're always open for more. I decided I wanted to go back to the hellos. Okay, I stopped that for a little bit. But now we're starting to get more people saying hello. Obviously, we're never going to get to a point where we can say hello to every single person as the podcast grows. But we want to say hello to the people who are coming on. We have a few new people too, and I'm very grateful to say that. So we have Dave Shapiro, we have Dave Katz, we have John Wazlowski, we have David, we have a new one, James. There's also James from South Philly too. We can't forget him. James just came to my head, and we have Michelle, and we have Mike, and we have my goodness, there really are a lot of names.
Yeah.
And of course, we have Joel who listens all the time, and we have the ladies. God bless them. The ladies that are on the Wrestling Sports Network that are doing the women's podcast, they're listening now, and Professor Bear, and we have Rich, our friend Rich Fittingoff listens. Debbie, we can't forget Debbie.
Debbie, love you,
Debbie,
Debbie.
Debbie's Debbie. We'll talk about her later if that's okay. We have oh wait, I have this. I can't tell this story on the podcast because it's too long. But I got to talk to another friend that I went to high school with. Her name is Debbie Miller, and now she and our friend Teresa and myself are going to go out to lunch for next Friday. Isn't
Yay.
that great? I love it. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
And if I tell you the story as to how I got in touch with her, number one, you're not going to believe it. Okay. But number two, only me. It can only happen to me. Okay. One,
That I
maybe,
believe.
maybe,
Say no more.
maybe if we have time. I'm telling you, I am the only person I know that gets involved in these relationships and things like that, where I wind up being friends with either the wife or the other woman all the time. It's weird. You dump the guy and you're friends with the other woman. I don't understand that, but she is a really nice lady, and it's so funny because I laugh all the time, and I don't know. Like I keep saying, if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. And I keep, but it's funny, like every guy you talk to, and I know men feel the same way about women, I'm sure, but every guy you talk to, it's like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And, there's
I don't talk to them.
I know. It's like there's a lie here and a lie there and a lie here and a lie there. And then there's always, but I didn't do that. I didn't say that.
I value my inner peace and my inner just peace.
Yeah. Well,
And
see,
I'm
you're
very
Rich.
happy.
You're married. You don't have to deal with any of this crap, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, and thank God I don't.
Yeah, you have a beautiful wife, and she's very
Yes, I
sweet.
do.
And thank God you haven't had to deal with this crap for a long time. But it's sometimes you just realize, and then of course every once in a while there's that one person that you talk to, and then you're thinking, wow, he's really nice. But you're scared. You're still scared, But anyway, that's enough of that. Okay, let's talk about wrestling.
Well, real quick before we get
yes.
into all the updates of
Yes.
I just want to remind everybody that on July 12th we're going to have, or Joel's going to have, the premiere of his documentary film on the history of the TWA, and it starts at 9:30 in the morning at the Ambler Theater. It's free to come in. If you do want to leave a donation for the Cauliflower Alley Club, you're more than welcome. 100% of those proceeds go directly to the Cauliflower Alley Club, and it should be a great time. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Well, in addition to what you're saying, the other thing we're going to do is we're having a podcast on July 9th to promote again Joel's event. Okay.
With a lot of the guys from
the TWA. I'm excited. Yes. So as of right now, we have committed Tony Stetson. We have committed Mike Tartaglia. We have trying to think of who else. Wait a minute. Glenn Osborne. I love Glenn Osborne. Love him to death. I got a few people, but anyway, DC Drake won't be able to make it, but he sends his love, as always. A terrific, wonderful man. And I think it's going to be a really good show. I mean, I'm actually going to go. How about that? I mean, I flake so much, it's pathetic, but I'm going to go to that, and we're going to have fun. So
I'm going, whether you flake or not, I'm going.
No, we're going. And please, Rich, if you can possibly come, I think it would be wonderful. I think you'd have a great time. I know it's far for you.
I'm going to try.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice.
Try. How many people are you expecting?
Well, the capacity is 150, so we don't have any commitments at this time because it's open. So we didn't ask for any.
It's just general admission.
General
so
admission.
150 people get there, then that's it.
And there's no money you have to pay unless you want to leave a donation. So whoever comes. And if it's over 150, then I don't know what they're going to do. But God willing, we'll at least get that many. So that's a good thing. Where I also talked to Tom Brandy, and we're going to have him. I know, I love him. We're going to have him on our podcast. I didn't give him a date yet. Did not give him a date. But we're going to have him on. He's excited to come on. We want to talk about his little doll. He's got little dolls now.
Yes,
so we're going to talk about that.
I have to get one. I keep meaning to, but senility, I see it, and instead of just bam right there, I'm like, okay, on the weekend I'll do it. Yeah. Or next pay I'll do it, or whatever.
It's always next pay. It's always this
out of my head.
Well, and then we also have, finally, I'm going to say this right, for once. Next week, our podcast is going to be Karen McDaniel. Okay, the Wahoo McDaniel's widow. That's going to be excellent. I want to see that. She just celebrated, God bless, the passing of her son Storm. Was this week. He didn't pass this week. It was an anniversary. Okay. Also talking about Cauliflower Alley, they're really ripping out the awards this year. This year,
they do every year.
Yeah, but this year, because it's the 60th, like they're banging out. Like they got women's tag teams, they got all this other stuff. Like they got stuff that they don't usually do, and they just announced that Bret Hart is going to be there to get an award.
The Thula's Award.
Yeah, so it's worth going, I think.
And his niece Natalia is going to be presenting him.
Wow, that's going to be great. That makes it worth it just to go there. Could you imagine if we could get her to commit to a podcast, or him? Wouldn't that be nice? Doubt it, but whatever. We'll try. Okay. What?
He wants to be paid.
They all want to be paid, unless they're like whatever. But okay, let's talk a little bit of wrestling as to what we've been seeing.
Well, I have no idea what's going on with. Well, I have bare minimum of what's going on. So if we can start with the WWE and you can fill me in on what's been going on. Mm-hmm. I saw a couple things online that not wrestling per se, but Vince McMahon.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, I really am out of the loop. So fill me in on what's going on.
Let's bring that Vince McMahon thing up real quick right now, if it's the same thing I'm thinking of. Mm-hmm. That he and all the powers that be, all the cases involved, all the people involved, all of a sudden now are willing to go to arbitration. They're willing to... Go ahead, Rich.
That includes Janelle Grant, which
I know.
I read that today, and that very much surprised me.
And I got to be honest with you, and I know that this is probably not going to be taken well by many people, and honestly, I don't care. I got to be honest with you, that upsets me, that she agreed. If I was her, I would have gone to court. I would have done anything I possibly could to speak my piece. I would have, when something like that happens and you are going through all the trouble of involving the police, of bringing it to court, of doing this, doing that, then all of a sudden you're going to talk. And what is you're going to talk about? You're going to talk about a settlement. So this is about money. It's not about getting any restitution as far as somebody going to jail for how horribly she was treated. See, that makes me angry. It really does. And I'm sorry.
Well, the only thing I can think of is because the one thing that I saw was that the powers, like the head of TKO, were not willing to hand over any documentation or information regarding it. Now, granted, it was before TKO owned the WWE. It was still under Vince when this all, I guess I have to say, allegedly happened. But she might not have had a choice in the matter if there's no like eyewitnesses that are willing to testify.
But see, here's my thing. If TKO isn't willing to turn anything over, you're talking about the government, the courts. I work for the courts. They have the right to say to you, we want that documentation, or we will come into your place and get it. So that's what I'm not understanding. Like, why?
I don't get it. I don't understand either. All I know is, because Brock Lesnar is no longer involved in it, and supposedly John Laurinaitis.
And he was going to turn state's evidence. He was going to do it. So what happened to that now?
Yeah, I don't know, because I have no idea. So
see, I'm sorry.
I'm confused. I'm confused about it. I don't understand. But if she can get some type of justification or money, that she in my opinion,
I think she should get money.
deserves.
I think she should get a lot of money, but I also think somebody needs to go to jail.
Oh, I agree 1,000%.
And they're not going to go to jail in arbitration. That's not going to happen.
No, it's
So-
not going to happen. In
No,
addition,
Well, he was never going to go to jail anyway because of his age and because of his power, and he was never going to see jail time.
Well, I think
Let's
power
face
more
it.
than age, but still,
Yeah.
I mean, there's been people that were 90 years old and were arrested, but I'm saying
So
that
this way, because since he was never going to go to jail anyway, then why not do
I
it the
don't
way
know.
that's going to get you the most money for it?
I don't know. See, I
don't know.
have a stick up my butt about that. I just do.
No, I do. No, I agree with you 1,000%.
It just makes me
I
so
think-
angry.
I think there's an accountability factor here that's now lacking as a result of that. Now, I will say two things. The public information that came out when the lawsuit was filed took down a very, very powerful man who built the organization, and for his other partner in crime, and rightfully so, it cost him a marriage, as well as pretty much being blackballed from the wrestling industry. And anything I've heard about John Laurinaitis is he was a real piece of work behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, I heard a lot about him too. He's a pig, is what he was. But I mean, I'm grateful. I'm very glad that his wife Kathy divorced him because he more than deserved that. This is what makes me angry is how many women stay with these asses. They stay with these men who do this horrific stuff and, again, blame the women and oh God, that makes me crazy. But Janelle Grant, man, I don't know, dude. I can't get past it. I'm sorry. I just can't. Everybody's got an opinion. You know what opinions are like. Everybody's got one. But I can't get past the fact that now it's okay to just have money. And you know what's going to happen? Everybody's going to be like, see, I knew she lied. I knew this old bullshit. I knew she lied. That's why she just wanted money. She just wanted, and that's not what it was. If she was actually physically abused, she shouldn't have just money. She should have real restitution, in my opinion. And that's my opinion. And that's that. So, NA, let's talk about wrestling. Okay. SmackDown. So Rich and I will talk about the matches. We'll go through them pretty quickly, Rich, but then we'll interrupt with the stuff that's been going on, like we talked about. Okay.
Right.
So we have SmackDown. We have Bayley versus Raquel Rodriguez, JC Jane, and Kiana James with Julia in a 4-way Queen of the Ring match. Raquel Rodriguez defeated Kiana James, Bayley, and JC Jane in 14 minutes and 5 seconds. Now, this is what I have to say about this, okay? I love Raquel Rodriguez. I like her. I think she's awesome, okay? I don't think they've pushed her enough. I think it's good that she won that. What I don't like is the fact that now Julia, who was this big promoted lady in the beginning, is now just a little button in the dark, sitting in the back, saying, I don't do anything anymore. I just stand here. What do you think, Rich?
Well, the only thing that really happened out of that for Julia is she kind of turned face at the end, based on the mishap and that her friend thought that it was her that was responsible for the mishap, and so one of the other positives and just about the whole show was the fact that it was an international show.
Right.
So they're all performing in front of a hot crowd.
Yeah.
Other than, and other than that, I think they are trying to also plant the seed of potential dissension between Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan.
Oh, definitely. Because if you remember, what's her name? The other little one.
Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne Perez. Oh my God, I keep wanting to say Raquel. Roxanne Perez said to Liv Morgan on Monday Night Raw, "Well, maybe it'll be you fighting Raquel Rodriguez, and then one of you will win, and then we'll still have the belt in the Judgment Day." And Liv Morgan real quick got out of that one, and she went up to Dominic and ran away with him. But I thought that was cute. I think you're right. I think it's going to be a dissension between them. And before we go on, I want to thank Rich, by the way, for giving us these matches, because again, it's been a week. I know it's been a week for you, but I appreciate it. And if you don't mind, if you could go to the next one.
Okay. If I can just say one more thing,
Absolutely.
I agree with you about Raquel Rodriguez. I really like her, but I really, really liked her in NXT,
Yeah.
especially when she was champion. I think that, again, a lot of these NXT people that get called up to the main roster wind up getting very much underutilized when they get called up.
And I think another reason for that is, though, that there's just too many wrestlers. I think another thing that has to do, like, there's too many wrestlers. They have their handful of this group of wrestlers that they want to promote, that they want to push and push and push, because they're the crowd pleasers. They're not giving anybody else other than Oba, the opportunity to be another loved persona. You know what I'm saying? It's like, when you come out, like, as an example, let's do Sol Ruca. So I love Sol Ruca. I think she's good. A lot of people don't like her. Okay. And that's cool. I like her. She came out like gangbusters. Okay. Guarantee you dimes to donuts. Once she loses this title, we will hear about Sol Ruca few and far between again. That's what's going to happen. You get exploded when you first get in, and then all of a sudden, if you're Oba Femi, then you stay exploded, or else you kind of dwindle back into the background. And I think that's ridiculous. I don't like that. I think they ought to give them the merit that they deserve for their abilities.
Oh, totally agree. And I think if you look at the history of the number of people that started out in NXT and then made it up to the main roster, whether it was SmackDown or whether it was Raw, in many cases they were spectacular in NXT, and then when they brought them up to the main roster, they were just underwhelming, and they didn't really know what to do with them. And I mean, I could go through a list of people, which I'm not going to do. I mean, we could do that at another time, but there's a ton of them that are even there now.
Yeah.
So the next match was Tama Tonga with Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga versus Royce Keys. Tama Tonga beat Royce Keys in 8 minutes, and I was a little surprised by that.
I was just going to say that. Here you got, I call him Hikuleo, I don't care. Here you got Hikuleo with Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga, okay? Hikuleo, he's done nothing, all right? Royce Keys, when he was in the AEW as Powerhouse Hobbs, he was phenomenal. He was a powerhouse. He was brutal. He was something to be reckoned with. He was somebody to fear. He was like almost like their version of a smaller Oba Femi. He was like, wow, here he comes here and he's losing. And I don't know. I don't like it. I just don't like it. They're not utilizing him the way I think they should.
Well, I agree, and they should be building him up, and they shouldn't have him losing.
No, not this soon anyway. They did this big thing with Stephanie McMahon on the What's Your Life or something like that, like her podcast. He talked about, he's crying about his family, his mother, and blah, 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 and all this. And I thought they were going to really boom the hell out of him, And then all of a sudden, they do this really big interview, and all of a sudden he's like, okay, that was the end of that. I'm done.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I don't like it.
He's got a great backstory.
He does. And I think he could utilize that because he comes from a lot of problems, a lot of things in his past that could make him hungry, to move forward and to be something spectacular. And they're not doing that with him. And, that's just crazy. Next match.
Women's U.S. champion Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. That's an odd team right there.
Yeah.
Versus Jade Cargill and Mitchin with BFAB. And Jade Cargill and Mitchin beat Women's U.S. champs Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair in 11 minutes and 25 seconds.
See, and that's another thing. Okay. Another short match. Tiffany and Charlotte should never have been put together. Okay. They don't mesh well. They, they even had later on, they had Charlotte in with Rhea Ripley, which was, I think, better, Yeah. But, hey, Rich, can you move a little bit to your left? Maybe you're right. All of a sudden, you faded a little bit. There's
a sun glare on you.
Yeah, a little glare. There you go. It's going. Thank you.
I'm going to change chairs. This happened once before.
Yeah, but we can see you now. Okay. Okay, yeah, you're good.
I just switched chairs.
Okay, you're good. All right. So anyway, as I was saying, what did you think about that combination?
Well, I never got the allure of Tiffany Stratton to begin with, to be quite honest with you. And, they had the heat, what was it, a year ago? I mean, they had real heat with the back and forth verbal exchanges, Tiffany and Charlotte.
Oh, yeah. That was good.
And I just really thought that it was just two people that did not need to be paired together. They just made no sense to me.
Right. And then it's like that feud, that heat is gone all of a sudden, Plus, honestly, the only thing that Tiffany has, in my opinion, is that most beautiful moonsault ever, or cutest moonsault, whatever the heck it's called. Yeah. Other than that, she's just another glamour girl, really, to me. It's not like she does anything dramatic in wrestling. Like Charlotte, on the other hand, like her or not, she's an excellent athlete. She's an excellent wrestler. And you can't fault her for that. She's not my favorite person either, but the girl's got what it takes. She does. There's no doubt about that. Tiffany, I don't think does. Okay. Okay, I'll do the next one. Ricky Saints and Carmelo Hayes. Ricky Saints beat Carmelo Hayes in 9 minutes. That pisses me off too. Ricky Saints should not be beating Carmelo Hayes in 9 minutes. What are they thinking?
Well, first of all, in my opinion, even in NXT, Ricky Saints was underwhelming. When he was Ricky Stark in AEW and he first started out, I thought he was going to be the next Rock, the way he was talking.
Yeah, but he was good.
And he started out as a face in AEW, and then he turned heel, and he's never really caught on with a heel character. He doesn't even have the look of a heel.
No.
And he's he's very, very skinny, so he doesn't have any body tone to him. There's just nothing about Ricky Saints.
No. And all he's got is this thing. He does this.
Yes.
That's it. That's all he's got. And I'm not a fan of his. I like Carmelo Hayes, though. I do.
I do, too.
Yeah. You want to do the next one?
Lash Legend with Nia Jax versus Chelsea Green. Lash Legend defeated Chelsea Green in 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, that was a squash match.
And the funny thing is, I love Chelsea Green. I think she has so much to offer. She will do anything she's asked. She will struggle. She will fight. She had her nose broken and wrestled. She will do anything. And I love her to death. And I hope to God that they do wind up pushing her somewhere along the line, because she's good at what she does. Lash Legend. Let me tell you about Lash Legend. Okay, first of all, obviously everybody knows she's going to marry Trick Williams. But I think she's also better than she is with Nia Jax. I don't see them being a big wrestling duo. They're really not. Like, now all they do is push each other around, push people around. When Legend was in NXT, she was much better than she is now. And that bothers me. It does. Like I said, they don't promote people the way I think they should. And of course they should all do it the way I think they should, we all know that.
Well, anybody working with Nia is not.
That's right. You mentioned
good either. So
yeah, you mentioned last week, Jeannie, that you're not a fan of Nia, if I recall.
Yeah, never have been.
No.
She's awful. She's horrible. She
Yeah.
might be very good, but they don't allow her to be. And it's botch after botch after botch and screw it. And it's just, don't like her.
No, I agree. I do. I mean,
I'm
I
sure
like,
she's a lovely person,
yeah,
but
you know,
as a wrestler, don't like her, never did.
yeah. No, she can't wrestle. She can't wrestle. And either, like Jeannie said, either she really can't wrestle or they're not utilizing her enough. And I think she's a fill-in, pretty much. That's it. Okay, Dominic Mysterio with Liv Morgan versus Braun Breaker and Trick Williams versus Damian Priest in a 4-way. Dominic Mysterio defeated Damian Priest, and he did it in 17 minutes. And I got to tell you something. Okay, I am getting so sick of this Braun Breaker, Austin Theory, Paul Heyman, Logan Paul thing with this Seth Rollins. I'm just over it. I'm over it. Okay. But I got to tell you, I know you're going to think I'm crazy for saying it, but Dominic Mysterio makes me laugh. I think he's funny. I do. I mean, did you see what happened with him and Oba? Jeannie, if you would have saw this, you would have pissed yourself. Oh my God.
No. I always liked him. I don't really get the whole manly like sex symbol thing, because in my opinion he's not, but as a wrestler and as a performer I like him.
And I love the way he's like, you know, you got to do the respect the stash, he says, you know. But what happened was Oba was in the ring. Okay, it was so funny. Oba was in the ring, and he's going to fight Dominic Monday on Raw. Okay, and because both of them won their respective matches. And Dominic comes out and he's like, I'm going to beat you, blah, blah, blah. So Oba Femi says, they got to understand, I love Oba Femi. We all know that. But Oba Femi says to him with his little Nigerian accent, which I can't do. He said, we all know Rey Mysterio is your father. But next week, I'm going to introduce you to your daddy. And I was like, dying, and he's like, no, he's not my father. And I'm like, that just blew the whole thing. I thought that was funny as hell. And then JD hits him in the back with a chair, and Oba's just like was that a mosquito? He turned around and he punched the chair, and it hit him. I mean, I like where they're going with Oba. I really do. Oba did an interview with Stephanie McMahon as well, and I did like this about him. He adores his mother, as all men should. And he said that his mother actually taught him how to love. And he said that even in a relationship, which he's in, he said if you're not in it 100%, he said he'll know, he can tell. And that's what he does. He does it 100%, and he wants it 100%. Who doesn't? You know what I mean? But Oba, I love Oba. I just do. And that's the end of that. But anyway, enough about that. Go ahead, Rich.
I just want to say something about, I want to expound real quick on when you said you find Dominic Mysterio funny. The funniest thing I found with Dominic Mysterio was when he first turned on his father, and anytime he would come in and try to say something, the crowd would just boo over him, and he had to stop in the middle of him trying to say something, and then every time he tried to start again, the boos would get louder.
That happened. Yeah, it happened on Monday night. It was funny as hell. And Oba was even laughing. It was funny. Yeah, everybody was booing him, and he.
But they hadn't done that. They hadn't done that in a while with the United States crowds, and I think one of the reasons it happened was because of the international crowd.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was funny, but I like that. I think it's funny. I do. That overseas stuff, man. Those people are like really into it. Like and of course, because they don't get it that much, you know. So they're really into it. So that was pretty good. Let's talk about something else right now. I don't want to talk about just the matches.
Yes.
Let's talk about.
There's two backstories that came out of SmackDown that they were doing in between. So the first thing is what's going on with Sami Zayn, and is he turning heel? And when he was heel before, it was one thing, but the way they're turning him heel now, he's like a whiner, and it's extremely annoying. And I'd rather see Sami Zayn, if he's going to turn heel, do it when he helped Kevin Owens or something like
Yeah.
that. And they,
I think they don't have anything to do with him. That's why they're doing this. They don't have anything to do with him. Like I said, too many people. This one, was going to be Gunther and Cody. And I got to tell you this honestly, too. I love Cody Rhodes. I love Cody Rhodes, but I'm getting tired of this now. I'm getting tired of seeing, and hearing the Cody Rhodes father stories and Cody Rhodes father insults and the Cody Rhodes, I'm a champion and, it's enough, Cody, now. You're a nice guy. You did your thing. You ended your story. Everything's cool. But enough with the Cody Rhodes, because the fans are even starting to get enough of him, really. And I don't like that, because he's going to wind up being sour in their mouth and in their head before anything good happens out of all this. I want to jump real quick to Penta and Rey Mysterio. Okay. Now, in my opinion, I think that what happened with Penta and Rey Mysterio showed the WWE finally trying to push Penta in a good way. Okay. Did you see that match, Rich?
Yeah, I did. And I think that there's the other backstory of that is Chad Gable. And not to change subjects of Raw.
No, that's fine.
I don't know whether you saw, WWE bought out AAA.
Yes.
And they've got Lucha Libre on YouTube every Saturday night. They had this culmination of this feud about 2 weeks ago, the original El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano. And now I didn't see it. I only saw portions of it, but everything I've heard from everything that I've either heard or read, they are saying that was like a match of the year. The match went an hour. The crowd was nuts. Chad Gable had to unmask, and now they're bringing him back into WWE. And the thing with Penta and Rey Mysterio, so now Chad Gable's having this change of heart and looking at the Lucha Libre wrestlers in a different light. Right. Because he came in and saved the beatdown. I think he saved, was it Rey Mysterio or Penta from the beatdown?
Right. And what happened was with that other thing that you were saying too, when you have a match, I did see some of that match. I didn't watch the whole thing, but when you have Chad Gable and Ludwig Kaiser, who are both exceptional athletes, they are both incredibly strong. They're incredibly well-versed. They're incredible athletes. Watching them wrestle, I am going to watch the whole thing, but watching them wrestle was literally like, as they say, having your cake and eating it too. You know what I mean? They were phenomenal. Like, I've seen multiple 1 hour matches. I've seen a ton of 1 hour matches, but it's hard to explain and put it in words what this match was like. It was really like the effort, like you could see that they really, really put 1,000% of themselves into the match. If anybody hasn't seen it, like I said, I'm going to watch it, but if anybody hasn't seen it, do yourself a favor and watch it, because I did watch some of it and I was beside myself. It was really a good match. And the two of them together are incredible athletes. I mean, everybody knew that it was Chad Gable. Everybody knew that it was Ludwig Kaiser. Everybody knew all that, but everybody still went with it, And getting back to Penta and Rey Mysterio, I think that was the perfect way, if that's what they were doing, for Mysterio to pass the torch. Because who else would he pass it to? Obviously not his son. But, having it go to Penta, I think was a good idea. I really do. I think Penta is also a good athlete. I'm not a big fan, but I think he's good. And then you have to understand, too, the backstory with Rey Mysterio and his son dates back to way, way back when Dominic was only about this big, and he was in the ring as just this little boy with blonde hair. And he was told that his father was not Rey Mysterio. Okay. His father was actually Eddie Guerrero. And obviously, that's not true. Obviously, Rey Mysterio is his father, but they did this big long thing. So now they attach that to the current backstory. and or made it like a present story. So that's why that's a good story for them. Okay. But obviously, so that everybody knows, they still celebrate holidays together and they still go to each other's houses. So, it is what it is. But I thought that was pretty cool. I wanted to talk a little bit more about who do you think's going to win the King and Queen of the Ring? I have my own thoughts on that.
I think Oba's going to win the King of the Ring. I think that's a given. And going back to the other match on SmackDown, I was really disappointed that Trick Williams did not win that match and that it was Dominic Mysterio. I think on the women's side, I think Raquel Rodriguez is going to win it. And that's what's going to ignite the feud between her and Liv Morgan. And that would be the perfect opportunity for Raquel Rodriguez to turn face.
I think I agree with you on the women, but I was thinking on the men, wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be just funny if something happened and Dominic Mysterio did beat Oba? I would be laughing the entire night. I think that would be so funny. I mean, obviously it's not going to happen, but I think it would be funny as hell because, Oba is this big, brutal guy and blah, blah, blah. And Dominic's just this little wussy guy, but he's so crafty and he's always got something up his sleeve and this and that and this and that.
Well, the only way that would work is if, what is it, Judgment Day?
Yeah.
Like they interfered and they caused Oba to lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that would be because otherwise.
Exactly.
What the hell?
I know, but unless maybe he had brass knucks or something. I don't know.
Or Brock Lesnar could cost him the match.
That's right. Because he did call Brock Lesnar a big bad bitch. He did say that.
Right.
So I don't know. But, we'll see what happens with that. I think we want to take a break from WWE and let's go into the AEW. Because to me, I got to be honest with you, AEW last night was beyond amazing. Oh my God. Let's start with Will Ospreay real quick. He can't say it enough times that the WWE did not make him. He is so pissed off about that. And he said the WWE did not make him. They were saying that if he had signed with the WWE would have made him better and made him this, made him that. And he said, no, WWE would never make me. They never did. They never will. So he's got that bug that he's got up his butt too, which I don't blame him for that. Also, a reminder, he's getting married on Monday. He and Alex Windsor are getting married on Monday, the 15th. They're not taking an immediate honeymoon because he has to go to New Japan the next day. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but everything seems to be planned right down the road because, he called me and he told me, I'm sorry you can't be there, Carmella. We really want you there, but, it is what it is. What are you going to do? I mean, I know, it is, but so I think he's going to win the Owen Hart. I really do. I think he's going to win and maybe get the belt. I don't know, but there's something still going to happen with him and the Death Riders. I really believe that a lot. I do. But let's talk about last night real quick. You had Jon Moxley versus Shane Taylor for the AEW Continental Championship. Was not a fan of
that. Before that, who came out?
Don Callis and Kevin Knight.
Oh yeah, Kevin Knight, and they were talking about MJF. Yeah,
and who called out Jericho?
Yes, that's right.
And
oh my God,
they came out.
Oh, that was so funny.
It was so good. It was so good, so good.
Jericho does that subliminal
Always
stuff.
have.
Yeah, he's so funny, and he's saying, like he was saying to Tommaso Ciampa. We'll get to that in a minute. But he said to Tommaso,
that's who it was. It was Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
And like Tommaso's like all pissed off and he's all wiry and he's jumping up and down and Jericho comes out and he's like, every time he says a sentence, he throws in a little dig in quietly. Like he'll say something like, he called him Tommy,
Yeah.
My mother doesn't even call me Tommy. And he goes, oh, your mother doesn't call you Tommy? Mama's boy. And he says that quietly.
So Tommy's mommy?
Yeah, Tommy's mommy and
the
whole
Tommy's mommy.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, well, I know you're a real popular wrestler, really bad beard. He said that underneath. And, bald guy. I love the way he comes out with this really encouraging statement.
The best.
Yeah,
on the
like,
mic,
you know,
yes.
you're a really good wrestler with a bald head. You know, I think that is so funny. I'm not a fan of Chris Jericho, but was so good last night.
Oh,
He
I've
really
always
was.
loved him. Yeah.
Oh my God, he's so good. And then the people kept singing. And when Tommaso Ciampa said, cut the music, you know, even after they cut the music, the people still kept singing, and that really made him angry. But I thought that was so funny. That really was. I'm glad that you reminded us of that, Jeannie, because
And
I
then
totally forgot.
and then they got into a fight and they had to be separated and going
All
after
the
each other. It was
security, and
so
yeah,
good. Yeah.
it was
was
very
good.
good. I can't
good.
wait to see where that's going to lead. What did you think of that, Rich?
I'm going to have to disagree with both of you because
Okay.
I thought Chris Jericho was absolutely silly.
He is.
I didn't find it funny. I found it stupid.
Okay. And that's okay. That's all right for you to think that. Everybody has their own opinion. I just thought it was funny. And like, he's done it before to other people. So I think I was actually waiting for that. And it was funny. All right. So let's go with the couple of matches. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of. Jon Moxley and Shane Taylor. Was not a fan of Shane Taylor. You know, I don't even want to talk about that match right now. Then we have Pac. Go ahead.
Well, this goes back to the question, is Jon Moxley and the Death Riders, are they faces or are they heels?
That's to be determined. We talked about that before. I believe that more is going to happen in the future with them. Either it's like the Judgment Day. Either something's going to happen within, or Will's going to turn, or they're going to turn, or Jon Moxley's going to go to Will's side. You know, because Jon is the one who keeps, you know, pushing to help Will more than anybody else. I don't know. And I'm going to be honest with you, Jeannie, I know you don't like her, and that's okay. But I think they're doing a lot more with Marina Shafir. She's really going after these women now that are part of the other factions. And I like that. I think that's good. How about that real tall lady? God bless her. She's a big girl. She's like 7 feet tall. I forgot her name. Right? You saw her. No, nobody saw her.
Tall. Is she the one who hit
she was standing outside. No, that was somebody else. This girl is really tall. She's always on the outside of the apron. I forget who she's with. I don't know. I'll think of it. But let's go on.
Well, the one thing that I because Rich, like you, I'm totally confused with the Death Riders.
Yeah.
Are they good? Are they bad? They're last night, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I kind of see them that they want to turn into like not as silly as DX, but like DX, like the anti-hero faction.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Where they want to get the fans behind them. And I mean, they're not going to do all the suck it thing and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But they're going to be that it kind of reminded me a little bit of that. Like, are they trying to be like a DX in a way where, you know, they're a fan favorite. They're going to be a fan favorite because they're the anti-hero. But I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know. But last night was one of the first times I ever saw DX get creamed. Like, instead of doing the creaming, they got creamed. You know, they got beat up pretty bad.
Not DX, Death Riders.
See, you got that in my head now, the Death Riders. Thank you, Jeannie. But yeah, go ahead, Rich.
I'm kind of curious, Jeannie. What is it about Marina Shafir that you don't particularly care for?
Her style. I think she's awful. She, you know, she's supposed to be this big, bad, you know, like super tough and, you know, and all this stuff. And
she's like a UFC.
She can't throw a punch. She can't do, like, you know, she just sucks at selling. You know, I just think she's awful.
I saw her on a podcast about 6 months ago, and I wish I could remember which podcast it was, but I was totally surprised with how nice she came across as a real as a real person.
Yeah.
How really nice and sweet.
Oh,
she
I'm
came
sure
across.
she's absolutely
Yeah.
lovely. But for her character, I just,
Mhm.
I'm not buying it because I think she's horrible at it.
And I get that. I get that. I find it funny that how far away John Moxley stays from her, even when he's
I know.
close to her, because Renee would probably kick both of their butts.
Oh,
But,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Well, anyway, but Marina Shafir is married to Roderick Strong, anyways. But still, I didn't know
Right.
that. I thought that was funny when I heard that. Listen, if you guys don't mind for a second, I want to jump to the last match. We have to talk about that last match, with Swerve Strickland and
Brody King.
Brody King. Oh my God. I'm losing my mind. I am. That to me, okay. I was watching that this morning because I didn't see it last night. Number one, it was a fantastic match. Okay. Number two, Brody.
Mhm.
I mean, you got to give Swerve Strickland props because the guy can wrestle. He's good at what he does. But Brody King, for being older and for being his size, I mean, that guy does not relent at all. He was unbelievable. He was bleeding like a stuck pig. Okay. The blood was pouring off his face and he was going like there was no tomorrow. I mean, still, he didn't even look like he was tired half the time. That match to me was something that was like old school, big time, like big time. I kind of expected Brody to win. I really did. I knew it was going to be Swerve. I did, but I wanted Brody to win. I really did. So it's going to be Swerve and Ospreay, which they've wrestled before. I'm not sure that Ospreay has wrestled Brody King. I don't know. He may have, but I know he's wrestled Swerve multiple times. So it's kind of going to be like we've seen it already. But I don't think they give Brody King enough of a push either. They do, but they don't. This guy's phenomenal. He's really good. And I think that they really should push him a little bit more. And I like the fact that, he got a hold of Nana. That was funny. And
Yeah.
I like that. But I think it was an excellent match. I really do. And I think I would have said that was the match of the night. That's how I felt. What did you guys think about it?
I would agree that it was the match of the night because the other match, and just by cause and effect, the other matches were not that great. I thought the Moxley match was good, but compared to the other matches they had, it was definitely the best match of the night. No, there's no doubt about that, in my opinion.
How did you feel about that match, Jeannie?
Oh, no, I agree. Definitely match of the night.
Excellent match.
I wasn't sure who was going to win. I'm like 50-50, I kind of thought it was going to be Swerve, but it just, you never know. You never know. So, I was happy with the finale as far as I didn't know about Swerve having wrestled
He did.
Ospreay before, but it'll be new to me.
Yeah, that's it. That's cool because I mean, it'll be new in period. But I also wanted to talk about something real quick. It's funny how all three of us, are a little bit not sure of what's going on with the Death Riders. Now, is it possible that we're just all three of us not sure, or is it possible that they are actually putting together a decent story that can't be predicted right now? Is that possible?
I don't want to give Tony
Possible, just not probable.
Yeah, I don't want to give Tony Khan that much credit because I don't think he can think that far.
Maybe it's not him. Maybe it's something else. I think the fact that three people who between us have over 150 years of wrestling knowledge, okay, that three people are completely like slumped, okay, stumped for the whole thing. I think that maybe whatever they're planning might be something good. I mean, I'm stumped.
It very well could be. It very well could be. Anything is possible.
Yeah. I got to give AEW a little bit of credit.
It's just right now, it's just, for me, very confusing. And what are you doing?
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
is this where you're turning Osprey heel, which doesn't make sense to me?
No.
Or you're turning the Death Riders good, which if that's the case, okay. Where they're like I said before, like the anti-hero, like Stone Cold, or
I was just going to say that. Yep.
you know what I mean? Like
Yep,
that
yep.
kind of,
Yep. Like you can be cheered good or bad.
Right. They love you because they're going against the man or
Yeah.
whatever.
Exactly.
But who knows? Only time will tell. But just right now, it's just, for me, confusing. So
Yeah.
whether it's going to wind up being a good thing
Yeah.
or a bad thing, only time will tell.
I think right now it could be a good thing. Okay. I want to say something about Andrade El Idolo. Now he's got this new line. How did you know? How did you know? The whole night, everything. How do you know? How did you know? Now the audience is even saying it. That's like his new thing to everybody. Like, how did you know? How do you know? And I think I like that for him, but I still don't like the fact that he's doing all these stupid things with these girls and pictures and stuff like that.
But it was funny when Leo Rush came out and took her camera.
My God.
And
that was funny. Did you see what I meant by Leo Rush? How they dressed him up and they make him look like scary? That was so funny. And then for some reason, I don't know if it's just me, but when Orange Cassidy went near Leo Rush, like all of a sudden something happened to him. Like are they trying to say that Leo Rush has some kind of power, because every time Orange Cassidy seems to be around him, he's like, and he can't move, or whatever. But that was funny. I think they're going to do a lot with Leo Rush. I think they're trying to make Leo Rush the equivalent of Danhausen, maybe. But I think I would like Leo Rush better. Although in the WWE, Danhausen is doing much better because he is the attraction. He is a Dracula vampire attraction to the children. And obviously, wherever there's children, there's at least one parent. And there you go. But I think I like the Leo Rush thing. I kind of do. I didn't at first, but I kind of do now.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Yeah, I like it. What do you think, Rich?
I think it's too soon to tell. It's unusual what they're doing with him. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't he the mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley in WWE?
Yes, he was. Very different Leo Rush.
Very, very different Leo Rush.
Very different Leo Rush. Rich, tell us a little bit about this 5-man match that's coming up.
So, Mark Briscoe wants a world title shot with MJF, and MJF refuses to give him a title shot. So, and I love Mark Briscoe. Now him I find funny.
Okay.
He comes out with his grunting and whatever, and even some of the things that come out of his mouth just crack me up. He's just really funny. So he goes to Tony Khan, and Tony Khan agrees that they're each going to get their own stable, and if the Mark Briscoe stable wins, then Mark Briscoe's going to get his title shot with MJF, because MJF says he's never going to give Mark Briscoe a title shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be in a steel cage.
And it's going to be at Forbidden Door.
Yeah. Wow. I got to tell you, honestly, and I've learned this the hard way, and I don't know, Rich, even VPNs won't let you get AEW for free. That's, I think somebody said that if you have a VPN, you can get WWE for free because Netflix runs the pay-per-views for free around the country, around the world. AEW doesn't run it for free anywhere. But if you get AEW in another part of the world with a VPN, you would only pay $20 to $25 instead of $40 to $50. So that's still a savings. But I got to tell you something. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm thinking about maybe watching it. I know it's a lot of money, but I'm thinking about maybe seeing if my friend will let me use his little here, a little there, and maybe I can watch it. It'll be nice. I don't know. We'll see. I'd love to watch it though. Stop laughing. I'd love to watch it. I would love to watch it.
Well,
So I want to see if I can get it.
I mean, AEW is still going by a 35-year-old model of $40 pay-per-views on, either cable TV or streaming. And who wants to pay $40 anymore?
No, but if you use the VPN, you can pay 20. I mean,
Who wants to pay
Only
20?
if you live in another country.
No, if you have a VPN in the United States and you say that you're living in another country, you can watch it for that price or free. That's what a VPN does. I've done a lot of research.
How do they know that you're
They don't
in another
know.
country?
They
don't know.
A VPN
No.
hides your IP address, and they
Right.
really don't know. But Netflix, though, now here's what happened to a friend of mine. Netflix does know if you're using a VPN because
Yes,
they
they
watched
do.
it. Yeah, and when they watched it, they watched what was that? The Clash in Italy, and when they came back to watch Netflix, Netflix said to them, you have a VPN. You need to remove the VPN. Then you can watch Netflix. And then, of course, this person who was very smart decided to go on Netflix under somebody else's name and kept the VPN and watched what he wanted to watch anyway. So it happens, There's a way.
Yeah,
There's always a
Netflix-
way.
Netflix is caught up to the VPN because I've heard that happen to several people.
That's going to happen a lot. I think it's going to happen a lot more. And I blame Stephanie McMahon for making that announcement on her interview that people should get a VPN. But anyway, let's get an idea here from everybody as to what you think WWE at this point versus AEW with what is coming up with. They have SummerSlam is coming up. AEW has Forbidden Door. They're going to also have, I forget what it's called in Wembley. That's going to be even bigger. In and out, or no? All in?
All out.
All
or-
in.
All in. I think it's
all
all
in
in.
or
It's all
out.
in.
Yeah. So I think, I don't know. I think AEW, in my opinion, AEW is starting to go down the right road, I think. I think they're doing a lot of stuff older school, which I love. Okay. I think they're doing a lot of things that is more appealing to the fans. I think that they're making the environment a little bit more appealing to the fans too. Because if you notice, a lot of the arenas that they go into, when the wrestlers come down the ramp, it's not a really long ramp. The people are like right there. They come down the ramp and the ring is right there. It gives you a little bit more of a homey environment. They still don't have the really big barricades and all. They still have just those little partition things, which I think is cute. I like that. I think that AEW is trying to keep it as old school as they can, and I love that. I wish they would try to keep doing it. At WWE, in my opinion, is getting to the point where they want the fans money, but they want them as far away from the wrestlers as possible. And that's just how I feel. What do you guys feel?
Agree.
Rich?
Agree.
Yeah,
Totally agree. But AEW is also going into the smaller venues. Last night, for example, the capacity for where they were, I would think they were in Cincinnati, was like 4,500, and their attendance was only 1,700. And you could actually see during the show on certain camera angles on the second level, just a ton of empty seats.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that.
But you know what? As of late, and not on these really big pay-per-views, but as of late in some home shows, WWE's been experiencing that a little bit too, where they
True.
are moving people down to where the cameras are, so it looks more crowded. And also, I think when you go out of the country, it like, okay, as an example, the first time AEW went to Wembley, okay, from what I read, they drew more of a crowd than one of WWE's WrestleManias did in Wembley or in that area. Okay. So, I mean, you got to understand, and this is what people I don't think get. I don't think people get it. They're comparing apples to oranges. You know, that's like saying, as an example, you know, somebody's been cooking a certain food for 50 years and they've perfected it and they've got it down pat. And somebody comes along and they're cooking the same food, following a recipe and doing this, doing that. And they're trying their best to promote something that looks as good as that original recipe. You got to understand, WWE's been around for what, 60, 70, close to 80 years, whatever. Okay. WWF, WWE, all this. They've had so many years under their belts where they could build, they formed, they failed, they picked up, they tried, they failed, they tried again. AEW is what now? 9, maybe 10 years in, I think.
Maybe.
AEW
7.
maybe
Isn't it?
7. I thought it was more than that. Okay, fine. But you're talking again, apples to oranges with what AEW's done in 6, 7, 8 years. I think they've done really well. I've been watching them from day one. Okay, I honestly have.
That's not what we're saying, Carm. What we're saying is, yes, they're giving a better product. The only thing that I would say that might be a little hindrant is a lot of the blood and gore for little kids. You know, parents aren't going to take them to go see that, you know, in person. But in the in Europe, it's going to be, it's just a different animal for both federations. Okay. Because there's not that many live shows in Europe. So when they do go there, people flock. They go. In the United States, they're better, but they're still, and it could just be the time of the year as well. People are away on vacation, or they're, you know, in the summertime, or you know, I mean, during the week, I know for me, you know, if I got, yeah, I'm not buying a ticket for a Wednesday night when I got work the next day.
No, of course. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, granted, the younger people, they can do that. You know, I used to do that, but
yeah,
not anymore. You know, so it's just because it's not really so. I think it's apples and oranges because of the location being out of the country for the WWE. But when AEW goes to Wembley or whatever, yeah, I'm sure it'll sell out.
Oh yeah, but see, like my point also is like WWE also has blood. Yeah, not as much as AEW and not as drastic, but they have blood. Okay, and you know, they also have, again. My point was the point I was trying to make was that when people compare AEW to WWE, they're like, I like WWE better because they have this, they have this, they have this, they have this, and AEW doesn't. And I get that. I do. But like I said, my point was AEW hasn't been around that long to be able to have years of this and this and this and this, where WWE has had 9 million years of a bunch of stuff where they've grown and they've dropped and they've grown and they've dropped. I think for what AEW has done and for how long they've been around, I think they're doing pretty darn good. I really do. I just like the persona in the AEW. I like the fact that I'm not saying I don't like WWE. Don't get me wrong in that. I like WWE. I watch it wholeheartedly. Okay. But I do think that the WWE itself has been trying to pull away from the fans. They want the fans' money, but they don't want the fans. And that doesn't make any sense, but that's how I feel. Does that make sense?
Nobody is disputing that.
Yeah.
We were talking about the attendance.
Oh, okay. All right.
We weren't talking about the difference between, it was just that Rich and I both noticed that there were empty seats and like.
Oh yeah. I know. And I know what you're saying. And both places have now had empty seats too. both companies, but AEW
Oh, yeah.
had more. I know that.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
It didn't have anything to do with, and because of, and again, my opinion is I just don't watch WWE, and I won't watch it because they've gotten away from the fans.
They really
And
have.
they make it unaffordable. It's all about the buck, which we're in America, capitalist country, which, okay, I get. God bless. Go make as much as you can. But you ain't getting my money. You ain't
No.
getting my money.
And the way
Not
things are,
for the lack, especially not for the lack of product. I got to pay all this money just to watch it or go. And then there's a zillion commercials
oh God, yeah.
and hardly any matches. So what am I paying for?
Dead
What am I
air.
paying for if I'm going to buy a pay-per-view? No.
Yeah,
Not doing it,
5-minute
not
matches.
doing it,
That's
not
it.
doing it.
Exactly.
Not
No,
doing
I'm not doing it either. Rich, how do you feel about all this?
I think it's comparing apples and oranges because, yes, AEW has come a long way in the number of years they've been around. But at the end of the day, WWE will, if this is a competition as to who's number one versus who's number two, there is no competition. WWE is going to be number one forever.
Right.
Probably. And AEW, if anybody realistically has the mindset, oh, can AEW ever overtake WWE?
No.
They're living in a fantasy world.
No.
But the difference is, okay, some people like vanilla, some people like chocolate. So it's really a matter of what is your preference? What do you like? Do you like the entertainment aspect of it, or do you like the pure wrestling aspect of it? So it's a matter of individual taste as compared to, is one going to do better than the other? Is one going to have a bigger crowd than the other? Is one going to have more empty seats than the other? It's
Right.
two different products, and what do you like or what do you prefer? And it's never going to be about competition. It's just going to be,
No,
what do you
you're right.
prefer
There is
to what?
none. Right. You're right. There is none. Yeah, there is none, really.
And that was why I never started watching AEW until this time last year, because I'm like, what's the point? I like it, and then, they're just going to get run out of business in a few years, and why bother?
I
You know
hope
what I
not.
mean?
I
So
mean,
I hope
Yeah, I hope
not
not.
either.
Yeah.
But if you look at history,
Yeah, but the
No.
difference with AEW is that you have a guy who's running the company who has a billionaire father, and he can go to daddy to get whatever money he wants if the company's losing money. And I'm sure that that's what have to have happened in the early years. And of
oh
course,
God, yeah, no,
AEW being a privately held company, you don't have access to the books, so you have no idea whether they're making money, whether they're losing money, and it doesn't matter because they'll
Right.
just pour more money into it.
Rich, I got to tell you honestly, like, I love you dearly, and we've been friends for about 40 years now. And I think I know you well enough that I think that I'm getting a slight impression that you're not a fan of Tony Khan. Am I right?
You think?
You're funny. You are really funny. I love that. It's like you can't say enough bad things about Tony Khan.
Well,
I love it.
when I was down on my luck in 2021 and was out of a job, and the fact they were based out of Jacksonville, and I had some connections in Jacksonville, based on my prior experience, and I was able to obtain the email addresses of Tony Khan and the Jackson brothers. When, I don't know if they're still.
And you never
EVPs
gave
or-
it to me?
Hey, if you want it, I'll forward it to you right now. But the point is, I'm going back 5 years now. So I'm going back to a point in time. Okay. I emailed them all expressing my love for wrestling and all this and other. And I would love to, and never got a response back, just ignored.
Oh,
And
send
I
me
had
that
their-
email, would you?
Huh? You want it? I'll be glad
Yeah.
to forward it to you.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Not that they're going to answer me either, but I got to give it a shot.
Well, you got to give it a shot. I'll be more than glad to forward it to you. But my point is, if you don't look, and I'm sure these people are busy, but if you don't have the common decency, have the common decency to say, thank you, we're not interested, or thank you, or whatever, but just to ignore it.
Yeah,
there's
but do
my
you think
Bible.
you would have gotten an answer from the WWE?
Absolutely not, but I never emailed the WWE.
But I'm saying you don't like
but I
Tony
had
Khan
it.
because you didn't get a response, but you
I
like
had
the
to-
WWE and they wouldn't respond to you anyway.
But I've never tried. I tried with Tony Khan and he ignored me. So I have
So you
hard
got to
stuff-
stick up your butt about Tony Khan.
Yes, but I've got hard facts to substantiate it.
So why don't you send an email to WWE, see if they respond, and then you can put the double stick up there, and then you'd have them both, Then you can
Well,
hate
but
them
I
both
don't-
equally.
But I don't have Nick Khan's email address at WWE. I don't have Paul Levesque's email at WWE.
Do you know how easy they are to get?
I emailed the owner of the company directly and 2 EVPs and got squat. So they can kiss their chokas.
I love you. That is too funny.
I'm-
Okay, well, I got to tell you, if I didn't like everybody who didn't email me back, man, there would be a ton of people in this world. I have tried over and over, like with Will Ospreay. I reached out to his agent, okay, who actually answered me. And I wanted her to let me know about him being on the podcast and blah, blah, blah. And she said, absolutely, I'll get back to you and this and that. I guess she said she saw that we don't have that many listeners, that we're just building. And she probably realized that we weren't going to pay him anything. And she never got back to me either. I don't hate her. I don't hate Will Ospreay. Matter of fact, my friend Rob, I sent my friend a personal letter to Will Ospreay that day that I was supposed to go with him, the dumbass that I am, and I didn't go. I would have been able to meet him like this. I sent him a personal letter. He gave it to Will Ospreay. I saw a picture. He handed him to Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay put it in his pocket, and he probably went in the door and threw it in the garbage as soon as he walked in. But I don't hate him. I never got an answer to that either.
I never used the word hate, but no, I don't like him. But
Okay.
to me, it's a matter of lack of respect.
So should I feel that way about Will Ospreay?
Absolutely.
When the letter was actually handed to him?
You can feel any way you want to feel, but if that was me, you're damn right. I would feel exactly the same way.
Well,
And later on tonight, I will forward you Tony Khan and both Jackson's email addresses.
Wouldn't it be funny if I got an answer?
Well, you know what?
And then you're going to hate me too, right?
Never. That's not possible. I would be very happy for you.
There's a lot of people who don't like me, Rich. So it would be just adding one more to the list.
Look, to me it's a courtesy respect thing.
Yes, okay. I get it. I get it. I do. But you're funny. You're funny as hell. I think that's funny. Okay, anyway, we got to wrap this up. I think tonight was a good show. I loved it.
We didn't get into Raw. We didn't do Raw.
What do you mean we didn't do Raw? We did Raw. We did when
We did.
We did when Obafemi said
straight to SmackDown.
Obafemi said
you might have
Daddy.
mentioned
That's all.
that was the only thing that was mentioned on Raw.
We went from SmackDown to a smacked ass Tony Khan.
Okay, hold on. All right.
Raw.
Hold on. Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, and for the Queen of the Ring match. Liv Morgan defeated them in
Yeah, you went over
Nine.
this. This was SmackDown.
No, it
but
says
we didn't
Raw.
go-
This is Raw.
We
This is
didn't.
Raw.
We didn't. Yeah. So we didn't go over.
Well, wait a minute.
We
We
didn't
talked
go
about
over-
Sol Ruca. We talked about Penta and Rey Mysterio. We talked about.
We didn't talk about Javon Evans winning the qualifying match.
That's right.
we
That's
didn't-
the only thing we didn't hit on. Right. We're going to do that
So
right
that
now.
was all Raw because when you started
Yes.
out, you said it was SmackDown.
Right. We started with SmackDown. We jumped to Raw, and then we jumped back to AEW. We
I
jumped
don't
back.
remember
Yeah.
there being a jump. I thought everything you were talking about was on SmackDown.
No, we
Okay.
did both. Okay. All right. Seth Rollins versus Javon Evans versus Tala Tonga versus Ricky Saints in a King of the Ring match. And Seth
Javon
Rollins did Javon. Look, first of all, let me tell you, I love Javon Evans. Javon Evans did win that match. Javon Evans, you know what? If he won King of the Ring, I wouldn't even be a little mad. I got to be honest with you. I love that kid. I love him. He's such a good athlete. He's such a good wrestler. He's got so much amp and hype. I love him. He's a good guy. All right, Rich, you brought it up. Jeannie, you brought it up. Let's talk about Javon Evans.
I have no idea who he is. I don't watch. So
Javon Evans.
terrific. I
Javon
think he's
Evans is the 2026 version of Kofi Kingston.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
When you take Kofi in his young age, when he had the hair, the dreads, and all that, and he did those crazy things, and he jumped and he spun and he did this and that, and he was unbeatable. Javon Evans is amazing with his high flying, with his different moves that he does. He kind of looks, except he doesn't have Kofi Kingston's face, but his everything else about him reminds me of Kofi when he first came. He is an incredible young man. He really is. And like I said, I wouldn't be mad if he won King of the Ring. I really wouldn't. What do you think, Rich, about him?
I think he's got potential. I think it was too soon for him to advance.
You think, really?
I do. If I would have chosen a winner, I hate to say it, but okay. With the other ones, no, not Ricky Saints. No, not Tala Tonga. I might have gone with Seth Rollins.
The reason Seth Rollins isn't going to win the King of the Ring is because there's too much going on with him and the Vision still. That's a whole separate entity, I think. So I don't think that they would let him win the King of the Ring anyway. So I wasn't surprised at that.
Well, he's saying just for this particular match,
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
he would have liked to
Yeah.
have seen one was
Yeah.
Seth
But
Rollins.
I think now, what they're doing with Javon Evans is something they should have done with some of the other upcomers from NXT, you know, like the Julias or like the Roxanne's. You know, they didn't push them enough. This kid's getting big ass push now. Either it's because he knows somebody or somebody really likes him a lot or whatever. But this kid is getting pushed up the wazoo. He really is, and he deserves it. I think he's great. I do. He reminds me exactly of Kofi Kingston, and all his moves and all his stuff. And you know, he's this thin, you know, and he just can. I mean, this kid could probably walk across a very long, stretched out piece of gum and not trip. That's how good he is. If the gum was 10 feet in the air, he's really good. So yeah, I think that they are pushing him, and I think that it's for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but I think it's for a reason. So is there anything else you guys want to talk about that I missed?
Well,
Rich, he just doesn't want to get off the air. That's what it is.
no, look, I mean, we're all tired. It's been a long week. Do you want to say anything about Liv Morgan winning the qualifying match with Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, and Chelsea Green in the Queen of the Ring match?
I expected her to win because, again, I think it's going to go back to the Judgment Day feud. I really do, because she may wind up actually fighting Raquel Rodriguez, like Roxanne said, and then one of them would have to turn heel or one of them would have to turn face or whatever. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think the breakdown of the Judgment Day is inevitable. I like Liv Morgan.
Oh, I do too. I do too.
Yeah.
And she's very, very, very talented.
Yeah.
She's really come so far.
And she's so good at being snarky, and she's so good at being like the sexy demon lady or whatever. She's so good at that. She's so good at rubbing stuff in your face. She's really, really good at her character. She really is.
So yeah. So talking about Judgment Day, I'll just say real quick, and Damian Priest, I am sensing a Damian Priest heel turn against R-Truth, because R-Truth, like Damian Priest does not like Royce Keys or trust him, and R-Truth is trusting Royce Keys, and Damian Priest is getting a little annoyed with R-Truth.
Right.
I'm sensing a heel turn.
Well, I think it could very well be a heel turn, but I also think that they are dragging Damian Priest down. There's like nowhere for him to go. There's nowhere for him to go as a good guy anymore. So he probably would be better off as a bad guy.
This is how out of it I am. When the hell did Damian Priest become a good guy?
He was. He's been for a long time. He's tag team partners with R-Truth. And I think that he needs to be a heel again.
I remember him being a bad guy.
He was when he turned on Edge, when Edge formed the Judgment Day, and he turned on Edge, and then Finn Balor joined the Judgment Day.
Yeah,
He was a heel. Right. He was a heel for like a couple of years, but then I can't remember who he feuded with, but he turned face, and didn't he win the Money in the Bank and cash it in against Drew?
I believe so. Yeah, because that was when CM Punk was doing all that stuff to stop Drew from being able to keep the belt. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, but I
do remember that. I just don't remember him actually being a total face.
Yeah, he was.
I just thought he was a bad guy. That
technically he is now. Yeah, but I see him going back. I do. Okay, Rich. Is there anything else?
Do I detect a singe of sarcasm in that question?
Can we go to bed at some point tonight or have some dinner? No, you're wonderful. We love you very much. But
I'm done. I mean,
we're tired, Rich.
I'm tired too. If whatever.
I know. We all had a week. We did. We'll talk about that later.
We can call it a wrap. How's that?
You think we can, Jeannie? You okay with that? We calling it a wrap?
Whatever you want.
Okay, because it's an hour and a half now, and I'm sitting in a very hard kitchen chair, and my back hurts, and you know how it is. But anyway, I really liked tonight's show. We laughed our butts off, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it, and that's the way it should be.
Well, what's coming up on anything this weekend other than SmackDown and Collision?
No,
there's no pay-per-views or anything this week.
No, nothing this week. I don't think there's nothing this week. So we're going to do our
tonight at 9 p.m. is TNA on AMC.
Right. Well, I don't know if I get that, so I got to look into that. But next week we're going to have the three of us are going to be here again for Karen McDaniel, and then the week, we'll if we have some updates to do, we can do 2 podcasts a week. I'm okay with that if you guys are. We're good. So we can talk about that.
If you want to do 5 podcasts a week, well, then we'll have to cut them down to 15 minutes because you got to go to bed.
Come on. I'm older than everybody here, Rich.
Oh, you think so?
I'm older than you. I'm older than you. Hey, I'm going to be 69 years old, mister. How old are you?
Yes, next week.
How old are you?
Guess what?
What?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I am 69.
Well, I'm going to be 69 on Tuesday, so there you go.
Well, I'm older than you. I'm going to be 70 this year.
When?
November.
Well, all right. It's not that much. Stop. We're the same age.
But you said you're older than me.
I did say that. I did say that, and I stand corrected.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And by the way, would you like another Tony Khan comparison before
Yeah. Don't say me.
You and I lost touch for X number of years.
Right.
And when I reached out to you on Facebook Messenger, you responded to me within minutes after years of losing touch. And do you think that somebody else could return a freaking email? No.
You scared me for a minute there. I thought you were going to say that I didn't answer you either. I was ready to
No,
cry. No, I
no.
try very hard. I do to answer everybody all the time.
And
I
I'll
think that's
bet
important.
And I'll bet if you were a billionaire and had a daddy that was a billionaire that owned a football team, that your personality would have still reached out to me right away.
I would definitely have answered, even
That's
if it
right.
was my daddy.
That's
I loved when Obafemi said that. It reminded me of Betty Davis saying it. You imagine Betty Davis saying "your daddy," and that's what it sounded like when Oba said it. It was so friggin' funny. I couldn't believe it. And he was so serious, and he goes, "I will introduce you to your daddy," and I immediately thought of Betty Davis. But there you go. See, it was late. I was tired, and there you go. Are you doing exercises, Rich?
No, I'm trying to adjust my camera. While
It looked like you were doing pull-ups.
while you're on your hard chair, I have my ass laid up on a recliner.
Oh, nice. A nice recliner. I could do a recliner. I could be on here all night then. I'll probably fall
Okay.
asleep, though. I'd probably get me a recliner and we'll do that. Okay, I'm out. My air conditioner isn't on in here and I'm hot, so I'm out. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm going to bed. Okay,
All right.
I love you both. Mwah.
Yes, love you. Mwah.
Have a great night, and we will talk
You too.
very soon. Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.